Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
So welcome back again to our Ali Review Series practice quiz, and we now have part 6 of the history and theory of architecture. So before we start with the quiz, get a piece of paper and write down numbers 1 to 30. Para mamaya, when you answer the questions, you can easily write down the corresponding letter of your best choice from the multiple choice. And at the end of the quiz, count the total number of correct answers you have and check to what category your total score belongs. So if you are now ready, we can now start with the quiz. So number 1. The perimeter of the temple has a measure of blank taken from its base. A. 69.5 meters by 30.9 meters. B. 70 meters by 40 meters. C. 70.5 meters by 40.5 meters. And D. 71 meters by 41 meters. And our correct answer is letter A, 69.5 meters by 30.9 meters. So the Parthenon, located on the Acropolis in Athens, Greece, measures approximately 69.5 meters in length and 30.9 meters in width at the base or stylobate. These dimensions refer to the outer perimeter of the temple's platform where the columns stand. Number 2. Temple with circular plan supporting a dome of about 140 feet in diameter, once described by Thomas Jefferson as model of spherical arch. A. St. Peter Basilica. B. Hagia Sophia. C. Pantheon. And D. Parthenon. And our correct answer is letter C, Pantheon. So the Pantheon in Rome is a temple with a circular plan featuring a massive concrete dome with an oculus at the center. So ito yung oculus. The dome spans about 140 feet or 43.3 meters in diameter, which is nearly equal to its height, forming a perfect sphere inside. Jefferson greatly admired classical Roman architecture and the Pantheon, which is perfectly spherical dome, and was a significant inspiration for his own designs, including the Rotunda at the University of Virginia. So this is the design of the Rotunda at the University of Virginia by Thomas Jefferson. Number 3. What is its total height, the Pantheon? A. 45 meters. B. 46 meters. C. 44 meters. And D. 47 meters. And our correct answer is letter C, 44 meters. So the Pantheon is remarkable for its size, its construction, and its design. Until modern times, the dome was the largest built, measuring about 142 feet or 43 meters in diameter and rising to a height of 71 feet or 22 meters above its base. Meron ding ibang mga information sinasabi ang height is 143 feet or 43.5 meters. So the nearest here among the choices is 44 meters. Number 4. Who are the two primary designers of the structure below? A. Isidore of Millenia and Anthemius of Tralles. B. Isidore of Miletus and Anthemius of Tralles. C. Isidore of Tran and Anthemius of Troll. And D. Isidore of Net and Isidore of Taf. And our correct answer is letter B, Isidore of Miletus and Anthemius of Tralles. So the two primary designers of the Hagia Sophia are Isidore of Miletus and Anthemius of Tralles. They were both renowned mathematicians and geometers, commissioned by Emperor Justinian I to design the iconic structure. And number 5, what is the primary purpose of this structure from year 1453 to 1931? A. Cathedral. B. Mosque. C. Greek Orthodox. And D. Museum. And our correct answer is letter B, mosque. So the Hagia Sophia was originally built as a Christian cathedral in the 6th century. After the Ottoman conquest of Constantinople in 1453, Sultan Mehmed II immediately converted it into a mosque. It remained a mosque until 1931 when it was closed to the public and then reopened as a museum in 1935. Number 6. What is the most common material used in its construction? A. Ashlar bricks. B. Rusticated stone. C. Sandstone. And D. Gravel. And our correct answer is letter A, ashlar bricks. So the most common and primary material used in the construction of the Hagia Sophia was brick. While marble, stone, and even pumice for the dome's lightweight construction were also used, especially for decorative and specific structural elements, the vast majority of the building's walls and arches were built with brick. These bricks were often arranged in a herringbone pattern for stability. Number 7. What is its current use today? A. Catholic Church. B. Islamic Mosque. C. Museum. And D. Greek Orthodox Church. And our correct answer is letter B, Islamic Mosque. So most recently, in 2020, it was reconverted back into a mosque. Number 8. What was the original name of the current National Museum building as shown in this picture? A. The Legislative Building. B. National Library. C. Department of Finance Building. And D. Department of Tourism. And our correct answer is letter D, Department of Tourism. So the National Museum of Natural History, the former Department of Tourism building, was originally the Agriculture and Commerce building. The old Finance building in Luneta is now the National Museum of Anthropology. So that's a different building. So ito yung National Museum of Anthropology, yung dating Finance Building, and this is the National Museum of Natural History, formerly the DOT, and the old Agriculture and Commerce Building. Magkatapat yung dalawang yan. So they are part of the National Museum of the Philippines Complex, which also includes the National Museum of Fine Arts, or the former Legislative Building. Number 9. Who was the Filipino architect of the building? A. Juan Arellano. B. Antonio Pablo. C. Antonio Toledo. And D. Juan Luna. And our correct answer is letter C, Antonio Toledo. So the old Finance Building, now the National Museum of Anthropology, and the old Agricultural and Commerce Building, this building here, now the National Museum of Natural History in Luneta, were both designed by Filipino architect Antonio Manialac Toledo. These two buildings were envisioned to be symmetrical mirror images of each other, forming a neoclassical grouping within the larger plan for Luneta by Daniel Burnham. So ito yung plano ng Luneta dati. Andito yung DOT, no? Ngayon ay National Museum of Natural History, at ito naman yung Old Finance Building na Museum of Anthropology. Ito yung Agrifina Circle dati. Kaya Agrifina Circle kasi agriculture and finance buildings. And number 10, what was the original purpose of the building under the Burnham Plan? A. Public hospital. B. Public library. C. Government office. And D. Legislative building. And our correct answer is letter C, the government office. So under Daniel Burnham's 1905 plan for Manila, the area where the old finance building and agriculture and commerce building, this is the agriculture commerce building, are located was envisioned as a grand government center. Burnham's plan aimed to create a unified modern capital city with designated zones for various functions. The buildings in Luneta were intended to be part of a national government complex with the Philippines capital as its centerpiece, surrounded by other government bureaus and departments. So, bali ito yung plano ni Daniel Burnham sa Luneta. Ito yung proposed na main capital building and the government offices surrounding. No? At andito yung monument ni Rizal. Yan ang itsura. Ito yung Capitol Building, at ito yung Agriculture, at ito yung Finance Building. Ito na yung DOT, no? The museum na ngayon. Parehas na museum, dalawang yan. Ito hindi nito nagawa. Pati syempre yung mga bilis dito hindi na rin natuloy. Okay, number 11. In 2015, the National Museum undergone a major renovation works. Under whose architect is this? A. Palafox and Associates. B. Galicia Architects. C. Karunungan and Partners. And D. Luxid and Associates. And our correct answer is letter B, Galicia Architects. So the major renovation work for the National Museum of Natural History, formerly the Agriculture and Commerce Building, that commenced around 2013-2015, leading to its opening in 2018, was under the architectural design of Dominic Galicia Architects. Number 12. What do you call the central theme of the renovation and retrofitting works done at the National Museum? A. Tree of Life. B. Puno ng Buhay. C. Tree of History. And D. Pagyabong. And our correct answer is letter A, Tree of Life. So Dominic Galicia's design involved maintaining the building's facade while adding a striking glass dome supported by a double helix structure. Ito yun, double helix structure, dubbed the Tree of Life, that covers the central courtyard. So ito yung bubong niya, andito yung bubong. No? So hindi niya ginalaw yung harapan. And the building itself, pinaka-main building. Number 13, the Coconut Palace was built in 1979 under the design of architect Francisco Manosa. It is also known as A. Bahay Pilipino, B. Tahanang Pilipino, C. House of Life, and D. Bahay Buhay. And our correct answer is letter B, Tahanang Pilipino. So Coconut Palace, also known as Tahanang Pilipino, is a government building located in the Cultural Center of the Philippines complex. Number 14, what is its dominant plan shape that resembles the coconut shape when being served? A. Pentagon, B. Heptagon, C. Octagon, and D. Nonagon. And our correct answer is letter C, Octagon. So, the Coconut Palace or Tahanang Pilipino was designed to resemble a coconut. Its dominant plan shape is an octagon, specifically to mimic the shape of a fresh coconut when it's cut open before being served. The roof, on the other hand, is shaped like a traditional Filipino salakot, a wide-brimmed hat. Number 15. Which of the following is not Francisco Manosa's work? A. Monastery of the Transfiguration. B. Shrine of Our Lady of Peace, EDSA. C. Mary, Mother of God Parish, Muntinlupa. And D. Nature's Church. And our correct answer is letter A, Monastery of the Transfiguration. So the Monastery of the Transfiguration in Malaybalay City, Bukidnon was designed by the late national artist for architecture, Leandro Locsin. He drew inspiration from the traditional Filipino bahay kubo or nipa hut and the ifugao huts, translating those elements into a contemporary structure. On the other hand, these are the works of Francisco Manosa, the Shrine for Our Lady of Peace, EDSA, Mary, Mother of God Parish in Muntinlupa, and the Mary Immaculate Parish or the Nature Church. Number 16. Manila City Hall was designed by Antonio Toledo during the American period, including the following, except 1. A. Department of Tourism Building. B. Legislative Building. C. Leyte Provincial Capitol. D. Muntinlupa City Hall. And our correct answer is letter D, Muntinlupa City Hall. So Antonio Toledo was a prolific Filipino architect during the American period, known for his neoclassical designs, particularly for government buildings in Manila and some provincial capitals such as the Department of Tourism Building, Legislative Building, and the Leyte Provincial Capitol. Number 17. Among the choices below, which school was designed by Antonio Toledo? A. University of the Philippines, Padre Faura. B. Far Eastern University. C. San Sebastian. And D. Manuel Luis Quezon University. And our correct answer is letter A, University of the Philippines, Padre Faura. So based on historical records, Antonio Toledo is credited with designing buildings within the old University of the Philippines Padre Faura campus. This includes structures like the College of Medicine Annex and the University Library on that campus. Number 18. Designed in the tradition of formal symmetry by Andrea Palladio during the Renaissance period. A. Villa Santino. B. Villa Capra. C. Villa Carlota. And D. Villa Cordoba. And our correct answer is letter B, Villa Capra. So, Andrea Palladio is renowned for his villas, which exemplify the principles of the Renaissance, particularly his emphasis on formal symmetry, proportion, and the adaptation of classical Roman forms. Among his most famous works that perfectly embodies these principles, with its 4 identical facades and central dome, is the Villa Capra, also known as La Rotonda. Number 19. What is the name of this famous structure in the Netherlands built in around 1920s? A. Robert's House. B. Schroeder's House. C. Rietveld House. D. Robertson's House. And our correct answer is letter B, Schroeder's House. So the Rietveld Schroeder's house in Utrecht was built in 1924 for Mrs. Truth Schroeder and her 3 children. She commissioned the house to be designed preferably without walls. Number 20. What particular style the house was designed? A. De Stijl. B. Art Nouveau. C. Jugendstil. And D. Authentian. And our correct answer is letter A, the Stijl. So this small one-family house with its flexible interior spatial arrangement and visual and formal qualities was a manifesto of the ideals of the De Stijl group of artists and architects in the Netherlands in the 1920s, and has since been considered one of the icons of the modern movement in architecture. Number 21. Who was the architect? A. Gerrit Rietveld, B. Jerry Reinfeldt, C. Gerhardt, and D. Jerry Garrett. And our correct answer is letter A, Gerrit Rietveld. So the Rietveld-Schroeder House in Utrecht was built in 1924 by Dutch architect Gerrit Rietveld for Mrs. Truus Schroeder and her 3 children. Number 22. Which among are referred to as De Stijl colors? A. Primary colors, B. Secondary colors, C. Tertiary colors, and D. Neutral colors. And our correct answer is letter A, primary colors. So the Stijl, or Dutch for the style, was an art and design movement founded in the Netherlands around 1917 by artists like Piet Mondrian and Theo van Doesburg. The movement emphasized geometric forms, straight lines, and the use of primary colors, red, blue, and yellow, along with the neutrals, black, white, and gray. Number 23. The figure here falls under what style of architectural manifestation? A. Informalism, B. Brutalism, C. Deconstructivism, and D. Hedoism. And our correct answer is letter B, Brutalism. So the Cromwell Tower, part of the Barbican Estate in London, is a prominent example of Brutalist architecture. Designed by Chamberlain, Powell, and Bond, the 42-story tower is a key element of the Barbican, a complex known for its distinctive Brutalist style. The Barbican, including Cromwell Tower, was constructed between 1965 and 1976. Number 24. Le Corbusier described his choice of material beton brut, meaning A. Raw material, B. White material, C. Raw concrete, and D. Unfinished. And our correct answer is letter C, raw concrete. So Le Corbusier's choice of material, beton brut, literally translates from French to raw concrete. Beton brut is not a material itself, but rather a way of using concrete. He used this term to describe concrete that was left exposed and unfinished after being poured, showcasing the natural textures, patterns, and seams left by the formwork. This raw, anesthetic became a defining characteristic of Brutalist architecture, a style heavily influenced by Le Corbusier's work. Another building example of Brutalism is the Boston City Hall in 1968 using beton brut. Number 25. One of Frank Lloyd Wright's organic design of architecture, A. Falling Water, B. Robbie House, C. Petronas Tower, D. Dulles Airport. And our correct answer is letter A, Falling Water. So, Falling Water is arguably Frank Lloyd Wright's most iconic example of organic architecture. Built over a waterfall, it dramatically integrates the house with the natural landscape, blurring the lines between indoor and outdoor spaces. Number 26. Miss Van der Rohe's masterpiece, which started the dawn of international style, was the Farnsworth House made of bold steel and glass. What was Miss Van der Rohe's primary participation in it? A. Architect, B. Interior designer, C. Architect contractor, and D. Contractor. And our correct answer is letter C, architect contractor. So Miss Van der Rohe played a central role in the design and construction of the Farnsworth House, acting as both architect and, due to complications, de facto general contractor. He envisioned the house as a minimalist, transparent structure that would harmonize with its natural surroundings, showcasing his modernist design principles. The house is a prime example of his skin and bones architecture, utilizing industrial materials like steel and glass to create a sense of openness and connection with the outdoors. 27. Why the house was painted white? A. To integrate it with nature as only the visible color. B. To keep out the sun's heat. C. To keep a clean look. And D. None of the above. And our correct answer is to integrate it with nature as only the visible color. So the Farnsworth House was painted white to emphasize its minimalist aesthetic and to allow the house to blend harmoniously with nature. The white color acts as a neutral frame that reflects and contrasts with the changing colors of the surrounding landscape: green in spring, brown in autumn, white in winter. Mays believe in the concept of less is more, and the white finish helped keep the design pure, modern, and visually unobtrusive in a natural setting. Number 28. If Miss Van der Rohe has the Farnsworth House, the glass house is attributed to whom? A. Philip Johnson. B. Frank Lloyd Wright. C. Erich Mendelssohn. And D. Marcel Breuer. And our correct answer is letter A, Philip Johnson. So Philip Johnson's glass house, built in 1949 in New Canaan, Connecticut, was heavily influenced by Miss Van der Rohe's Farnsworth House, which was designed earlier but completely slightly later. Johnson, a prominent American architect and critic, created his own version of a transparent dwelling, further exploring the concepts of minimalism, transparency, and integration with the landscape. And 29. Masjid al-Haram is also known as the A. Great Mosque of Islam, B. Great Mosque of Mecca, C. Great Mosque, and D. Great Mosque of Islamic World. And our correct answer is letter B, Great Mosque of Mecca. So Masjid al-Haram is also widely known as the Great Mosque of Mecca. It is the largest mosque in the world and surrounds the Kaaba, Islam's holiest shrine, in the city of Mecca, Saudi Arabia. And lastly, considered as the world's smallest cathedral. A. Nice Cathedral. B. Nin Cathedral. C. Nine Cathedral. D. Nuns Cathedral. And our correct answer is letter B, Nin Cathedral. So Nin Cathedral is a cathedral in Nin, Croatia. It is probably the smallest cathedral ever built. It was built around 800 and probably was the seat of the local bishop at the time. The small cathedral was built on the area of a former Roman basilica, destroyed during the barbarian invasions of Dalmatia in the 6th century. And so that's it. You can count now your total correct answers. And if your correct answers is 15 or less, it is now time for a more strategic review. If you want to have a more comprehensive review, you can scan the QR code here to know more about Atlas CDC Review Center. And watch out for my succeeding videos as well.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.